Wow, that was one intro.
Hello, guys. Welcome back.
Welcome back, you guys.
I'm Cindy.
I'm Paige.
And this
Is Mom's the Word.
Where mom knows best.
Or at least she is trying her best.
We're trying our best.
Do you sound really freaking loud today?
Sound loud.
I feel like I sound loud.
Hopefully they can hear us because they've said they can't hear us, but they can.
Can you hear me? Oh, my goodness.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Welcome back.
Yeah,
How you been?
I've been all right.
It feels like it was so long
Yeah, it
since the
was.
last time we recorded it. It actually kind of felt weird.
Yeah.
Watching back the episodes that came in every
Yeah.
Sunday for edits, I was like,
I said, what did I say?
when did we talk about this?
Yeah. What was that?
Literally shooting 5 episodes in one day. I don't think we're not made for that. I
Yeah.
was so exhausted, and I feel like the conversations we were like,
Yeah. So none of you guys know that, but we set up to film one day a month because we're busy families, all of us. From Ben, our cameraman, me, Jay, we all have a lot of kids. And so we try to film one day, and it's usually 4 episodes.
yeah.
But this time our schedules were conflicted, and so we had to film 5 episodes, and that was wild.
Because
Never-
we're going to Vegas.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to Vegas. All of us, Jay, me, Cindy, we're all going to go to Vegas.
We are all nominated. So
Oh my gosh. I don't even care about the nomination. Don't
neither.
get me wrong. Like it's
neither.
an honor. It's really cool. I just genuinely am so excited to for y'all to go.
Now she's saying that because we're all in the same category. So she's like, I gotta go.
No, I really
gotta go
don't.
against them. I'm just kidding.
I really
Me
don't.
neither.
I've won before, you
Yes.
know, so I feel like I've gotten that excitement out
Yes.
of it. I want one of you guys to win because when they call your name, it's like, what did they just say? It's shocking.
So in a few weeks, you guys will know.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Who was it? We think it's Jay.
We think it's Jay.
We think it's Jay.
And I would be literally just
So
so
proud.
proud of Jay. You guys, Jay literally pours so much into his all of his social media.
Yeah.
So it would be so amazing.
I'm presenting. That's what I'm most excited about. I'm presenting 3 different categories, and I'm just so excited.
I love that.
The pool party, I've told you, the pool party is like one big theater camp, if you will, for adults. Because if you think about it, a lot of TikTokers were in theater whenever they were younger. We like to entertain.
create,
You know,
yes,
we like to
yes.
create. So then you get a big group of us together around this
You're just
pool, and there's
creating.
drink flowing, and there's giggles going. You know,
Guys, I'm
all
going to
the
tell you the
things.
truth about them, okay?
Oh yeah, we will. We will.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm joking. I'm not telling you
Just
nothing.
kidding.
But if you're not following us on Instagram, follow there because we're going to do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then what we're kind of thinking is we're going to do some on the spot questions with
Yeah.
some of the other parents that are there.
Yeah, other creators that you guys love that maybe
Yes.
we can't have come in to Dallas for
Yep.
an episode, for a full episode.
Yes.
Yeah, we're excited.
I'm very
that We just
excited.
need a break. We need a
Yes.
vacation.
This
even
will
though
be
I'm
my
taking-
first kid-free trip in literally years.
Oh wow.
I don't like.
It would have been for me, but I have decided that my daughter is going to come with us. She's going to
Yes.
stay in the hotel with my mom so that in the evening times I can go to her.
Yeah, I understand
We're
that.
still nursing.
Yes.
We're still nursing full time, and I've talked about it. She's been very difficult with changing into a bottle or sippy cup or anything. So it's not for lack of trying.
No.
I've tried. I've gone to a concert. I've done little things here and there, and I've had to leave early because my mom would be like, she won't take the bottle. They would literally spoon feed her my
She wants
breast
it from
milk.
the tap.
She does.
Yeah.
She does. She's
That's all right. That's
so
all right.
we are going to take her, but we'll be leaving Boston. Boston doesn't really do well with planes.
Yeah.
He likes a good car ride, but she doesn't. So
And he's a little older, whereas like
Yeah.
he'll do well with somebody watching him. Have a little vacation too.
he's almost 5.
I know.
She's almost 1. That's what's crazy. At
wild.
the end of this month, my daughter will be 1. What? I gave
when
birth
did that
6
happen?
weeks ago.
When did
What are we
that-
talking
what?
about? My body's still recovering. Like,
is.
what? So,
So speaking of that, we have questions.
We do.
And the first question that somebody wanted me to ask you is that, are you having more babies?
no, I am not. I will not be having any more children. Not that, I don't ever want to say never because that's whenever it happens. But we would not have any more planned children.
Okay.
Let's say that. Because, we have 4. We have 3 boys, 1 beautiful girl. And I just feel like that's enough.
Okay.
I don't want to be the mom that feels like she's so spread thin that she can't give enough time and attention and love to her children. And right now I'm in a happy place where I feel like they each get enough of me that they need. And so I don't want to put them in a position to feel like they had to take care of themselves or they had to do things without me because I was too busy with other children.
No,
so
I
I'm
love
happy
that
here.
so much. And knowing, you know when. And I'm like fully a firm believer on that. We want to be able to give each one of our kids our full attention.
Yeah.
And if you're too thin, you have too many. And some parents can handle a lot, right?
Yeah.
But your capacity.
Exactly. I know that I'm in a happy place and that this is as much as I can give right now.
Yes.
And that if I spread myself any thinner, I would only be cheating myself. I wouldn't do it at the expense of my children.
Right.
But it would decline my mental health, I'm sure. And we don't need that going anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just enjoy the ages that they are, and know that this is the last time they're going to be this age. And so I'm here for that.
And I'm also excited, I'm excited for the adventures with my husband after children too.
Yep, things
because
definitely change.
Things are going to change, and even as they get older, vacations start to change. Things we can do more.
Yep.
You can, there's just life is constantly changing whenever you have children. So I think that we're happy with the 4 that we have.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. I have questions for Cindy too, and we didn't read these questions, so they are going to kind of be off the top of our heads,
just
if you
random
will.
questions.
Let's see here. Okay, this one is not a question, but I do love this. And maybe
Okay.
it comes with an answer from you.
Okay.
No question, but I wish I had your confidence as a plus size woman.
That is something that started when I was little. So my parents literally spoke to me in such a way my whole life that I couldn't doubt myself. And so now I try to do that with my kids, but
That's beautiful.
my parents literally told me my whole life that I was beautiful the way I am. I can do what I want. I can be who I want. My whole life, they practically beat it into me
It really does start in the earlier ages.
that there was no part of me that wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
No, I would never let anybody doubt me because my parents already boosted my confidence up that much by just their words.
What would you say to somebody who their parents didn't do that for them and they're trying to do it now for themselves?
Yeah, it's really hard. So it is hard to love yourself when it didn't start at a young age, because I know a lot of parents talked harshly to their kids, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess how I would do it is try to do things that make you feel good about yourself. So don't try to compare yourself to other people. I'm a firm believer on delete people who you just you feel less than around, or you feel less than when you follow them, and do things that you personally enjoy. That's hard to do, but it will build your confidence. If there's something you like to do, really go into that, like a hobby or something, and it will build your confidence. And follow people that look like you. So I'm confident in the way I am because I feel like there's other moms who relate to me because of my size, and so I'll follow people who look like me in the fashion world and the other world, and that way I just don't feel so alone in the body that I'm in.
Yeah.
And so, but confidence is a hard thing. It's hard to teach somebody too, And so I feel,
Especially when it comes to our bodies.
oh my God, it's so hard.
Because, gosh, people just feel like they have a right to have an opinion on your
yeah.
body. No
Oh,
matter
yeah.
what size you are.
Yeah.
You can be too skinny. You can be too big. You can be too this, too
Yes.
that. It's constant in every which way. I genuinely think that no matter what body you're in, somebody is going to have something to say about it.
Always.
So just love your own.
Always. And for the moms whose body changed after, so I've been bigger my whole life, right? And so I've had the same reaction from people my whole life. And so I think there's moms who started out smaller, had kids, and now their body changed, and it's hard to find confidence.
Yeah.
And so you have to figure out how to accept yourself, buy the bigger size. It doesn't matter, Look up to people whose bodies have changed and moms who talk about it. Like you've talked about it and
Yeah,
things like that.
my
so.
body did change, and
Yeah.
and I had surgery, so that was a
Yes.
big one. I know that's a question that we're going to talk about is that I had a BBL done 2 years prior to having Juliet, because I knew that I wanted another child. So a lot of people have asked me well, did you know that you wanted another kid before you decided to do that? And I was like, well, yeah, I did, which is why I didn't get a tummy tuck. I did not go forward with a full tummy tuck. I didn't even technically get a BBL. It's just the simplified way of talking about it, because that is what it is. It's just to insurance and to a doctor, it was less invasive because it was not a full liposuction 360. So on a BBL, typically you would do a full lipo 360 and then a fat transfer. I did not have a full lipo 360. I had liposuction in specific areas, and then I had 2 pounds per butt cheek transferred in, and it was my natural. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I will say, some people have asked, do you regret it? Yes and no. I struggle with it because my body did change after having her, not my butt. A lot of people were like, why did you get a BBL? I just wanted a fat ass. Can we be honest here? I just wanted a fat ass. I didn't have no booty, and I really wanted a booty. So that didn't change, but my tummy was flatter because they had just done liposuction off of it, So I do compare post-surgery body to postpartum body sometimes.
Right.
And what sucks is that not only do I do it, but the internet does it.
yeah.
And they'll be like,
'Cause
look
you
at
shared
you
your journey.
now. Yeah, because I shared my BBL journey, now people feel like they have the right to comment on my body, which is insane to me because
Yes.
A, my body's not your business. And B, even if I did get a full tummy tuck and BBL and all those things, if I had a baby afterwards, I had a baby, y'all.
Literally.
Like I have the most beautiful, precious, priceless miracle gift ever. I would give up 1,000 bodies for her.
Right.
Like I genuinely don't care. Does it suck because I do the compare game? Yes. Does it suck more because people encourage me to compare?
Right.
Absolutely. That is the only reason why I have regrets from it sometimes is because I will look at what I looked like immediately post-op and be like, damn, I'm not there anymore. Like I should still be there. I should have been working out whenever I was pregnant or yada, yada, yada. You're your biggest critic.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And whenever you've seen your body at what a surgeon can do, I mean, shit, he's a miracle worker, right? I mean, he could sculpt me however I wanted to be. Once you see your body like that and then it starts to change, it's mentally can mess with you
yes.
in a big way because you remember when looking in the mirror and being like, look at me, and like feeling that confidence, even if it was fake. I mean, it's so fake. It's so sad to me to look back. There's a video that I did years ago where I did a video the night before and I was talking to myself and I was like, do you love your body now? And then I did the after and I was like, yeah, girl, but it looked fine beforehand. It makes me realize I had such, how do I say this? I had put so much value into what my body looked like for myself.
Right.
Like I wasn't a top tier person. Didn't matter what was inside of me if my body didn't look right too, because I knew other people would judge it. And I had such lack of confidence that I thought that I was going to have to be, I can remember a notebook that I had, and I had it probably until my mid-20s where I had written down the things that I needed to be in order to feel beautiful. And it was like tan, long hair, skinny, big butt. It was like all the things that I had, nothing about like kind, compassionate, love, like nothing like that. And that is more from my childhood because there was a lot of weight around what food you eat, right? Like what snacks you're putting into your body.
Yeah.
This is what your, grandmother was a heavier woman. Do you want to look like that? I'm like all in third grade. Like,
Gosh, those words are the worst.
They stick with you. And then you start to believe that that's where your value is found within your looks and your body. I was told at a very young age, girls are only pretty if they have long hair. And I couldn't grow my hair long in high school at all. Like I tried, but I was also frying it. So it wasn't until my mid-20s that my hair started to grow long. And then I got very, very attached to it. It took me like 12 years of growing my hair. And I didn't want to cut it off because I felt like my value was within the beauty of it. So
Crazy how many beauty standards are put on you.
Isn't it weird?
And when you're young and you're, 20s, mid-20s, young 20s, my goodness. Oh, that's
and
why
I was a dancer at one point. So then I'm around naked bodies and I'm comparing and need to be, the most beautiful, the most this, So it's just not worth it. It's really not worth it. If you're going to have a surgery to alter something that you don't like, I fully support you. I have no, I fully support you. I think go for it, baby girl. I will root you on in every shape and form. But don't do it if you're searching for your value within that surgery because you won't find it.
Yeah. That's one thing I think of, like, us parents. I want to say millennial parents because that's the age that I am, okay? I'm not just putting us in a category, but I feel like we all, well, not all of us because I was definitely not, but like a lot of us, our parents, we felt they were our first bully, right?
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. Mine were not, but my parents had a rough childhood, so they switched it on to us to have a good childhood.
Yeah.
But I hear from so many women and men our age that their parents were their first bully. And it sounds like yours were. And that's so sad to
Not
say.
all of them,
But they don't realize how much
which
they're.
one. But yes,
but you don't
there
realize how
were.
much those words affected
Yeah.
you. You're literally now a 30-year-old woman, and you're like, they said my aunt was big, and now I'm going to be big.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm like, I'm going to literally scream into my kids so much that they're not going to doubt themselves one bit.
Yeah. And I will say that, like, my parents now, like, if I talk about different things that were said or done, like, I have had genuine apologies from my parents where they're like,
Yeah, they were learning too. They were
Yeah.
parents too, right?
totally learning.
Yes.
Because my dad and me, like, don't get me wrong, we don't have like the closest relationship. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but we still have a way better relationship than we had whenever I was
Right.
a teenager. So those things are so important, and that's why I think it all starts when you're a kid.
Yeah.
When your parents, because those words matter.
Oh, yeah. That was kind of your question. Somebody asked about if you were still loving your BBL.
I kind of figured.
So she was like, she was on it.
Okay, listen, Cindy, how did
Alrighty.
you decide to get into foster care and know it was for you?
So this would be a long question or a long answer, but my short answer is that I always knew that I wanted to. When I was little, I would say, I'm going to adopt kids. I didn't go into foster care for that, but I literally can remember myself being like 10, like, I'm not having babies. I'm going to adopt babies because I loved kids. Like, I was like the babysitter, right? And so as I got older, I still knew, then I learned about like what fostering was. And out of college, I did like an internship kind of like job placement at a daycare, and there were babies there, foster babies there. And it broke my heart every day. And I just knew it was still, that's what I wanted to do. Then I met my husband, boyfriend at the time. And I was like, oh, one day I would love to be a foster parent. And he did not skip a beat and said, oh, I want to do that too. I know people. Yeah, I know people in the church, and I loved their kids for years, and I want to foster too. And I was like, okay, well, we will one day when we are.
Like, you're the one.
Yeah, we're
Oh
like,
my
when we're
God.
financially stable, we are. And at this point, I knew I wanted my own children as well. My thought had changed. And so I thought like, okay, I'm going to have kids. And if we have, the space that we're financially stable, we're opening our home up. And so that's what happened. It just called to us, and it would keep calling to us. It was the weirdest thing. Like, we moved into our home, we had Bear, and 2 years later, the thing popped up like a foster care conference. And we went, within 5 seconds, we were crying, knew this is what we wanted to do. And we didn't know we would grow our family that way. We just knew that we had the space, because I wanted to have more children. We had the space to love these babies. And so that's how it went. That
How
was the
many
quick
have
answer.
you had officially now?
So Itty Bitty Girl is our 14th placement.
And she is still in placement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she's still experiencing foster care. Yeah, Fox was our 14th, and we adopted him. And then Itty Bitty Girl, yeah, she's still experiencing foster care.
Very nice.
And it's only been 5 months, so there's a long road to go.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
All right, let's give Paige another question. Okay, we're gonna have a whole episode,
These
you guys,
make me
soon
nervous.
on autism, and so some of those questions I'm gonna save because there's some really good ones. Okay, let's see.
You can ask a few of them if you want to.
Okay.
Because I'm sure there's topics that I'll miss in that. Autism is such a wide spectrum.
Yes.
It is so, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not an expert.
Yes.
I'm just a mom who's been doing it for a year.
Okay, so somebody says, I'm currently dealing with postpartum anxiety. Do you have tips or anything that helped you get through this time?
Find your triggers. What is it that triggers your anxiety? Mine was movies and shows, news, things like that. I would just be like my natural white noise, turn the TV on type situation. And I found that like movies I used to enjoy, shows I used to enjoy, things like that, they would trigger me. Because I would take what was happening in those situations and I would make it about my family or my children, or I would start to fear the fear of like, oh my God, that is a real life situation that could happen to my child. How do I protect him from that? Oh my God, I can't protect him from that. And then I would spiral into, I'm not going to be able to protect him forever. He's going to get hurt. He's gonna, and that it can be so deafening whenever you are just trying to get out of that feeling.
I love that because there's a lot of different triggers, right? So like, I know that you have a few, like, water being one of them.
Yep.
So if that's your trigger, you just get away from that
Yeah,
situation.
absolutely.
That's a great thing to say.
Yeah, figure out what your triggers are, because once I cut out, like my husband knows, like I won't watch action movies or violent movies anymore. Hell, Batman upset me.
Yeah.
That was maybe it was the Joker. I think it was the Joker. It was in 2019. There was a movie on, and we'd gone. It was the very first movie I went to see after having Boston, and the Joker was sitting and during a movie interview, and he was talking about how his mom had left him and had abandoned him,
Yeah.
and I just started sobbing in the theater, had to get up and leave. Mark was like, are you okay? What's wrong? Like, it didn't get violent or anything. And I was just like, that is real. Like, people really leave their kids. Like, I want to go home right now. And so I just, I figured out that was what was triggering me most of all, that in the news. Or I'd be scrolling freaking social media and people like, this is so hard because I understand wanting to share hard situations so that you have a community who can be there with you, right?
Right.
But I would see some videos, right? And then think, oh my God, that could happen to my baby. And then I'm having a panic attack at 9:30 because I saw one 6-second video. And then it's a whole thing. So then I realized I can't scroll before bed. I can't because I could possibly see something that would upset me. So I didn't expose myself to those things anymore. And no longer did I have that anxiety because I wasn't putting the thoughts into my head.
Yeah.
I'm already going to have it because naturally I'm going to think all the things that could happen. But I found the way that I reduced it was to figure out what was triggering it and try to eliminate as much of it as I possibly could.
Yeah, and even like you shared it with like me and your other close friends, and that would even like stop me from sending you things. Because before I would like, oh my God, did you see this?
Yeah.
And you're like, you cannot send me that. And I completely would understand that because
Jay sent us something last week and I was like, Jay, I can't look it up.
So, and then I text Jay after because I'm a supportive friend. I was like, you cannot send Paige anything like that because I know her triggers now and I respect them. And so like anytime I'm having a conversation about something that could be a little bit triggering, we're not talking about it. We are fully aware of Paige's triggers and we are not sending her anything.
Yes, please don't. I have a photographic memory and I will take that character's face off of it and put my child's face on it. And then I will see it in my head like a movie over and over and over again. And that's where my anxiety went to OCD, is because my brain will obsess over it until I see my child is alive. And then I have to sit with him for like an hour or so. I'll count his breaths. I'm like that mom. My OCD will actually put me into a state of feeling like I need to take him to a hospital right now. Is he okay? Like something is going to happen, and makes me feel doomsday is like on my back.
It's wild. It is wild. And everybody's triggers are like way different. Mine are really little. So I have a huge trigger when it comes to kids eating.
Like say choking's a
really,
big one for you.
Choking is huge for me.
Yeah.
And literally something that will trigger it is if I see someone like give their kid a whole grape, I literally will watch them the whole time because I'm going to save that baby.
Yeah.
And so like people like kind of get annoyed with me when I'm like, please don't give Fox anything because I'm the one who's going to deal with it if something happens. Just because your kid could eat it at one, mine cannot.
Yes.
And so like I get literally like right now I'm going to start sweating because I'm like anxious. Like literally I'm going to shake because like I am so scared. I am so scared of that. That's something that I can protect. That's the one thing I can protect, is that whatever he's eating is going to be safe for him. It's not funny to play with me like that.
Right. No, that's not
Don't
cute.
play.
Yeah, don't feed my kid. Did you ever buy that anti-choking device?
Yeah, we have one.
Okay. If you're a
Suck
mom
that
and you're
thing out.
listening and you don't know what that is, there are some really amazing anti-choking devices online that have saved children's lives. So I definitely suggest you invest in it.
And your anxiety changes too every kid. So like with Bear,
Every
I did baby-led
child.
weaning and I was giving him everything. And now I've had 15 or 14 kids. No way. Fox, I'm sorry. A few more questions, guys. A lot of us, I like that we can both answer them, even though they're one of us.
Yeah, for sure. Did Cindy adopt another child?
No,
No.
I did not.
Y'all would know. Come on now.
No.
We'd be making announcements and all the things like we did for Fox.
Nope. One bio, one adopted, and one experiencing foster care. Yeah. So no, I'm not.
Okay, well, this one will go kind of hand in hand with that. What's the hardest part of fostering littles?
Oh my goodness. So there's a lot of things, but like I feel like I get really emotional for the parents.
Yeah.
Their bio parents. That's really hard. Is like,
Because you have relationships with them.
yeah, and I feel like I get so many milestones that I'm like, it makes me emotional that I'm like, well, they're not getting them, you know?
Because a lot of your placements have been babies.
Yeah. And so like to me, that's really hard, is like feeling like I'm taking those moments when they're with me for a valid reason. I can tell you that. But then once the parents are really trying, it's really hard to enjoy all the things. And I fully do. I'm very lucky. But the emotional side of it's really hard.
Yeah.
You know, seeing the parents go back and forth and then the kids, you know, I've had a lot of hard cases towards the end of them. And that has been the hardest for me. And then, when they leave.
Ultimately, you're doing it to protect the child.
Yes.
Right? You have the child's best interest at heart. But there's also a human on the other end of that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't see that, but I have, because I've gotten close to some of the families. Some people, it's scary. That is a scary thing to do. But once you just treat them as a normal human being that they are, you see things in a whole new perspective.
Yeah.
Like we all love these babies, right?
And I'm sure they're thankful that you don't look at them like
No.
they are
I'm not trying to
defined by their
take your baby.
mistake.
Yeah. I'm not trying to take your baby. I'm not trying to replace you. I'm trying to be in the middle to make sure your baby has a great life and is well-rounded. So when they get back to you, they don't skip a beat.
Right. They're in a safe space during this pause.
Yeah. So that's pretty hard. It's hard to see the ups and downs. And then one of the biggest things that I struggle with is like when a child has a visit after the visit is very hard and traumatizing. And I have to pick up those pieces.
Because they're confused why they can't stay with their parents.
And I'm trained to do so, and I've done it a lot, but that is heartbreaking. Seeing a baby scream for their mom, or they're confused, screaming for me. And when they go to their mom, that's heartbreaking to see a mom see their baby want me.
Yeah.
I just got the chills because that's heartbreaking. So the emotions behind it, there's a lot of other things, you guys. The system has failed. There's a lot of flaws. But when it comes to fostering, my hardest things is like not giving too much emotion because, man, it's going to break your heart.
And you hear the reasons why these children were removed. Yes. So not only do you have to hear the worst, but then you have to give them your best.
Yes. So. Exactly. I have to smile. Yeah. And then I have to smile at their parent. Like when I first...
So you also have to make the child feel like it's safe to return. Yeah.
Oh, we're good. Me and your mom and dad, we're good, but I know what happened. And so there's a lot of that, That's hard.
Have you ever had, and if it's too much, let me know. Have you ever had a case where they were violent towards the child and you felt uncomfortable in that sense of like you knew that they could potentially be abusive towards the child in a violent form? I mean, obviously there's a lot of placements for like drug use and such like that, but violence I would feel like would be different.
Right. So I've had cases that, okay, it's hard to say right now. I can't go too into detail.
Neglect.
Yes, I've had a lot of neglectful cases or things that happen to children that nobody knows what happened to.
Yeah.
And so that is terrifying when there's nobody taking accountability because you're like, well, what actually happened here? So I can't go into detail if I've had an abuse case, but that would be very hard. And honestly, the first couple of months is very hard trying to connect with a biofamily after knowing what happened. But you just get over that. That parent's going to try, and so...
Do you ever get frustrated? I know this was, well, I have to be careful what I say.
Yes.
Do you ever get frustrated if the parent does not give a shit at all?
Yeah, because that's heartbreaking, right? Yeah. Like and first of all, I never want anybody's kids to be taken away, right? But you now have a chance to get them back. And I've had some amazing, like 6 months, bam, they're back, right? And then it's the ones that are just like, no, I'm not coming today when that kid was waiting for them. Yeah. And so it is very frustrating.
Oh, that would just rip me to shreds. Yes. That right there is why I could not be a foster parent because seeing a child, because I've gone through that situation where you wait for a parent and they don't show up.
Yes.
If I saw a child, that's one of the reasons why I was like, if you ever promise my kid something and you don't show up, I'll cut you off.
Yeah, that's very hard. That's hard. And oh man, just like them not caring. Like I'm caring.
Like how could you not?
Much. Oh no, that's heartbreaking. And then, there's people who see me as a foster parent and they think I'm like, I'm trying to take these kids and like
they don't foster parents who are.
They don't see all the things that I hear. I'm not trying to take anybody's kid. I can tell y'all that. I have said goodbye to 13 kids and I love them wholeheartedly. If you see me with these kids, you're not going to know that they're my foster kids. I'm not trying to do that. And so I think that oh, goodness, it is hard, but...
I see the raw, real relationships you make with these children in a way that other people don't. And I can honestly say from an outside perspective, I did not see you switch a relationship with Fox until they told you you were going to be adopting. So I think you are in it for the right reasons. You handle yourself appropriately, and you know your place. Yeah. And you're not trying, like you said, you're not trying to replace anybody. No. Not at all.
And I've had people say that like, I'm pretty cold because, like, how can you just say goodbye and then you're just like, whatever, and that's not it at all.
You are not like whatever.
So I don't share that side of me as to like what happens after, right? I share that they go home. Yeah. And it's very hard. And that's such a frustrating thing. And I tell people I'm good at goodbyes because I have to be.
Yeah.
I have to prepare for the goodbye every day, right? Yeah. These aren't my babies.
Right.
And so it's hard. It's hard to share on the internet when you can't share all of the things, but I think people can see your true character and they know that I am in it for
absolutely.
the right reason.
I've seen foster parents online that I won't follow, and I'm not going to name drop anybody.
You're
but
telling
I've seen
me.
people that have been like, girl, you should have just gone to the adoption agency. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing here, ma'am?
Why are you here?
This is foster care. This is not adoption. And like I think people now that I've adopted Fox are like, well, you did adopt, but you don't know his circumstances.
Yeah, you don't understand that he didn't have any other choice.
Okay, that's all I'll say.
So he was literally with you for a year, and they said he's going to go up for adoption. What type of an asshole would you have looked like if you'd have been like, oh, well, I don't want him.
Yeah. And people don't agree with that, but like here in Texas, it's the ultimatum. He's up for adoption. So either you say yes or he's going to some random home right now. Absolutely not. That's my baby.
Until he's adopted. Because that doesn't mean he's going to his adopted home. He's going to another foster home. And then potentially they could say, this is too difficult for me. He's going to another foster home.
No, that would be so traumatic.
Right.
No.
There are kids who spend their entire lives in different foster houses
And that's
until
why
they turn 18.
Exactly. And that's why we're foster to adopt, because when it comes to circumstances, like I have learned, that's my baby now.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not doing it to adopt, but if there are no other options, we will
adopt.
keep that child and love him.
And I'm going to stand by that.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people don't like that, but you're not doing this. You're not in my shoes. You don't see that. You know, it's just, and it's hard. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I've said goodbye to 13, so you should know that I have the best interest for these children. So.
Yeah, at this point, like.
Look, you just got me all like, he did? I'm just kidding. All right, let's get one for Paige. Okay, let's see. If Paige is comfortable, discuss. Oh, okay. If Paige is comfortable, discuss like more in depth your feelings after you got the diagnosis with Boston. Because she said she's just going through it with her son. And like, I kind of like that you're really honest and how it like really felt for you.
Yeah, I was heartbroken. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I was heartbroken. I spent weeks in bed crying and being like, how? This can't happen. He deserves, more. Like the whole dramatics, y'all. The whole freaking dramatics. All of it. Now I'm a year later and I'm like, he's fucking perfect. What are you talking about? Like, and I would fight somebody who said he was anything other.
Yes.
But
you didn't even want to tell anybody.
Whenever I first found out, I didn't want to tell anybody. I actually lied to Cindy.
She sure did.
Straight lied to her and was like, everything was fine. Was very like beat around the bush because I told her I broke down. I knew that I had the appointment scheduled for the evaluation. Didn't know if I wanted to tell anybody. Finally broke down and told Cindy because I had to have it off my chest. And I was just like, I don't know. And I think I was in such denial because I keep in mind, I'm the one that called the pediatrician twice and was like, I don't think that this is what we're thinking it is. I was the one pushing for a diagnosis. And when they gave it to me, I was like, you're lying.
Yes, you did.
So I get being the parent that's advocating for the child and knowing something is there and then also being in denial whenever they tell you you were right. I get it. I also understand how it feels and how it can really make you sad. It's not a happy diagnosis. Nobody is jumping up and down and celebrating that your child is going to have a disability and that they could potentially be looked at differently, that everything, and I mean everything, is different for you. Will he move out? Will he need me forever? As of right now, he's not completely verbal.
Right.
How will I know that he'll be a teenager who can communicate for himself? There are so many what ifs.
Yeah.
And the unknown is fucking scary. Okay? It's terrifying. We get it. It's scary. You are not less of a mother because you didn't jump up and down for joy with this diagnosis. You did what you had to do to get this diagnosis for your child. And it's hard. It's hard to swallow, especially because you know that life is going to be different for you. But you're the perfect mama for that baby.
That's right.
You're the perfect mama for that baby. You've done so well. You've already advocated enough to have an evaluation and to have them be given resources that they wouldn't have without that diagnosis.
Yes.
So don't kick yourself. And also, don't blame yourself.
Yes.
Because I went through did I take the wrong vitamins? Did I stand too close to an x-ray machine? Did I do this? Is it because I hadn't vaccinated? Is it, you go through every freaking thing that could possibly happen. And at the end of the day, none of it matters. None of it matters. Even if you could handpick the why in the very moment that it happened, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. The only thing that you can do is move forward, love your child unconditionally, and just try to instill in them that they are no different, no less than any other child. So, we're going to go in further depth on that in another episode. But I will say that brutal honesty, I was heartbroken. I was sad. I was depressed. I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody until about 4 months later, and then I didn't say it publicly until 6-8 months later. So, and that was a very random that I decided to even talk about it publicly. So, it's understandable. It's understandable to be confused and sad and also to feel like, okay, there is a sense of relief there once you finally accept it that And now you can take the steps to try and help your child. That's all I'm here for, is to try to help my child, to advocate for him. I am his voice right now. So I was able to get him a diagnosis, even though I'm not excited.
Right.
I'm glad he has it because it is helping him in the sense of having appropriate resources to move forward and hopefully be able to help him thrive as an adult.
Yes.
So, because I'm not going to be there forever.
Yes.
Sadly.
Thank you, Paige. I love when she shares. She's okay. There will be a full episode though, so if you're watching and you want more information on all the things Paige is going to cover, it's coming. Okay, it is coming. Subscribe. We're going to go ahead and pull Jay in for some questions.
We got some Jay questions.
Yeah.
These are spicy.
These questions always go long because me and Paige are like passionate about two different things, and it's like, but yeah,
we could do a million of these Q&As.
We
They're so
definitely could.
fun though.
Yeah, they
I
are.
like these.
Yeah, you guys get a lot of information at one time. So let's pull Jay in and we'll ask Jay some questions.
Come on, Jay.
I'm back.
Jay's here.
You guys, all right. Jay is back.
I'm gonna just hold it.
Yeah. They were talking about him not talking into the mic. I said, it's a learning experience.
I'm just like rocking back and forth, you know, enjoying my best life. You know.
So this is Jay's first Q&A.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Thank you guys for asking Jay some questions.
I'm excited about these.
Alrighty.
Okay, here's your first one, Jay.
Okay.
How do you and Kyler keep your relationship spicy?
Oh.
Because he does have 5 children. So
How do we keep it spicy? I think that, well, when you have kids, you have to be creative, right? So you got to seize the moment when you can.
Okay.
So that's like on nap times or when they go to bed or something like that. But I think that, how do we keep it spicy?
It's very scheduled as parents, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately. You know what I mean? We haven't gotten to the point where it's on the calendar per se, like Pound Town at 9:00. But
it's definitely not just sporadic time.
yeah, but I think that physical touch, like we're always constantly
Affection, sharing affection.
sharing affection, more PG. And so that's how I'd say we keep it pretty spicy, and we just get creative whenever inspiration sparks, no matter where.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I like that. Don't just be like, I'm not doing it right now.
Yeah.
Pound Town, 20 minutes.
But what's interesting is that sometimes
That's literally when, yeah, Pound
what'd you say?
Town. You.
What?
That you called him Pound Town.
I'm the mayor. No, but the other day, I was cleaning and we're unboxing, and Kyler texts me, and we had a little disagreement because he wanted to go to bed early, but I didn't know why he was going to bed early. And I was like, "Oh, you're just gonna leave me here with all this mess, Kyler?" So he texted me, and I
all
saw the
mad.
text coming through, and I said, I'm not answering. I'm just going to continue to watch How to Get Away with Murder, and I'm not going to answer. So he had said, "Hey, did you want to join me in the shower?"
Oh, he was like, I better
So then
tell him some
he
hints.
got mad at me, and he comes out in like just a towel, and he's like, "Hello," and I was like, "I'm trying to get in here, Jay," and I was like, "Oh, okay,
Get in the taxi
okay.
to Pound
Yeah.
Town.
That's what you're like. Oh,
Your
gotta
Uber
go.
is here."
You were missing all the cues.
I didn't order an Uber.
Yeah,
Well, you
and
got
I was
one
like,
now.
I'm bad about missing cues though too.
Yeah.
Chris will be like, "Well, I tried." I'm like, "No, you
Oh
didn't."
no, Mark. No, I don't miss no cues.
I was like, "You can't miss a cue when you sit on my face." That's a cue you can't miss.
I cannot.
Mark
No,
misses
but-
the cues of like, I'll be like, God, I'm so tired, and I just like can't wait to go to sleep, and he's like, oh,
Just lay there.
and I'm like,
They'll be
stop
like, "Just lay there."
touching me. I want to go to bed.
But I feel like,
cannot.
okay, this is going to be interesting, but I feel like in a heterosexual relationship, it might be a little bit easier.
Okay.
Y'all are ready to go
Ooh,
at all
I
times.
have the ultimate.
So y'all are ready to
bust
go.
both
Y'all could
worlds
turn
here.
around and plop it in. Gay men
Plop it in.
have to get ready,
Jay.
have to prepare.
Okay.
And so for us, it takes a while. You have to prepare, blah, 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 blah. Y'all women, y'all ready.
That's true. I could be rocking this moo and Chris be like, "Oh,
Yeah, just, it's
Just
different.
slippity-doo-dah.
It's different for gay men. So.
As a woman that has been in a homosexual and a heterosexual relationship, I will say it is definitely easier in the heterosexual section because maybe this is just my experience as girl to girl. I want to smell good. I want to be soft. I want to be beautiful. I want to be sensual. He's Man, he doesn't care.
And they don't
He just
care how
wants
we
to
smell.
attack.
Literally, they're so wild.
They're so
They are
gross.
so wild.
It's so disgusting. I'll be like,
Well-
no, let me go shower. He's like,
no,
I
they like
it.
it. They
Lord
like
Almighty.
it. They like it.
There's some
Literally.
people who are into must. And we
Yeah.
must not be into that because I do not like that.
I'm not that girl.
I can smell people a mile away. I have a
Yep.
very hound nose.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm glad that me and Kyler are the same way. We like to smell good.
Yeah.
We like to taste good. We like to just
Y'all prepare for
be
each
good.
other.
Yeah,
and
amen
so-
to that, to the taste good. Because
Yeah.
if you've not washed that, baby,
God.
please, that's not going anywhere near my mouth.
No, absolutely not.
What are you talking about?
Wow, spicy.
Y'all
really
got real
question.
spicy there.
Listen, this is obviously a
Picante.
parent podcast, okay?
Parents did the deed to
they,
get
they
children.
literally did.
Literally. So,
Or some at least.
do you want to ask the next?
Yeah, some.
Go ahead, Paige. That's the next one.
Okay, well,
the same
speaking
questions.
of, are all of your kids biological siblings?
So this is a question that I get a lot, and it's interesting because a lot of people look at Talia and Kingston, and one, they believe that they're twins. So Talia and Kingston are 3 months apart. So that in itself should answer the question that no, they're not biologically related, or at least Talia and Kingston. But Talia and Kingston literally are practically the same height, the same head shape. They're both light skinned.
Hair color.
Talia has green eyes. Kingston has blue eyes. When we're at the grocery store and people ask me and they're like, "Are they twins?" Because I'm busy. I gotta go. They see I'm Morinari. Are they twins? Gotta go. I'm busy. I got an hour to get to this grocery store because I gotta go home. But so out of my 5 children, 4 are biologically related. So Talia, we adopted her in 2022, and then we adopted our sibling group a year later. And so Grayson, Amor, Ari, and Kingston are biologically related. They have the same mom, and so they are siblings. But people often get confused because Talia and Kingston look so much
do.
alike.
Yeah.
And then
Kingston looks just like you and Kyler
It's
had a baby.
wild.
yeah. So it's interesting because they always tell me like Kingston looks so much like Kyler. I think that he looks more like Kyler.
I think he looks more like you.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
just a mix of the
Right,
them
well, people-
both.
When his hair spiked up, I'm like, oh, that's
yes,
you.
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So people think
wild.
that Kingston is Kyler's biological son. And I told Kyler, let me find out. When you were dropping them off to do visits at the foster office, you took their mom backstage and did a little roll in the hay with her. And you are the father. I said, should I be taking both of you out of Maury?
The reason that's because you had the siblings and she got pregnant with Kingston, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
So I had my first, we had Grayson, Amor, and Ari. And then we found out that she was pregnant. And then, we were going through foster care, experiencing foster care. And then, we just saw her get bigger and bigger. And she told us she was pregnant. And yeah, I mean, we talked to her. I mean, we fostered them for 3 years. And so we knew each other. We saw each other every week, twice a week. And so we got to the point where we would talk and have
Yeah.
conversations and stuff. And so she did. She did let us know that she was pregnant. I was like, well, I kind of assumed because your boobs got way bigger and your stomach was growing every week. And so I'm a nosy person. I'm like, And so I knew that she was pregnant, but a month before she delivered, she admitted she was pregnant. I was like, oh, shocker. I was kidding.
Oh my
So yeah,
goodness.
but they are.
So the next question people want to know is that what's the hardest thing about having 5 children so close in age? Because at one time, Jay, you had babies.
4 under 4.
Wild.
Yeah.
Because right now, how old are your children?
So my 5 kids I have is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And so so let's see. Amor and Ari are separated by 9 months. So they're Irish twins. I mean, so that means, she got pregnant, had the baby, and then, had some more fun.
Back
And then
to
she
back.
had another one. And so same thing with Kingston. When he came, they do have a younger brother. And so he's also 9 months apart from Kingston. And so they are 9 months apart. And so they are very close in age. I don't know. When we started fostering, we were accepting pretty much all ages, and it just was what got called for. It wasn't like we put stipulations or anything. It was just what we got called for.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of babies. So, I mean, me and Kyler were talking about this yesterday where literally for a year and a half, we had newborns around the clock. And so how most people you go through that newborn stage where they're sleeping through the night, and you're like, praise the Lord. It's like we never went through that because
You and Cindy.
we had
I literally don't
many-
even want to talk about it.
Yes, we had so many babies
back-to-back
that
newborns for
even
4
when they were
years.
about to start sleeping more like 3-4 hours, you know, they would go home, that's the goal, which is amazing. But then you would get another baby, and you're like, Lord Almighty, we're back to the 2-hour feedings, and it's
I
like,
know
oh my God. So that's Kyler's favorite stage is babies. My stage, absolutely not. I'm like toddlers. But it is really hard. But at the same time, I feel like it's a little bit easier because they're all in the same
Yes.
stage developmentally. And so they
Yeah.
like the same things. They keep each other company. And so
So your
it's-
kids follow each other.
absolutely.
It's like their
Well, no.
age
They
group.
follow Amor.
Yeah.
Yes.
They sure do.
If anybody has been at my house and has seen Amor in action, Amor is the boss.
Yeah.
She will be the next female president.
She's
or the
going to be
first
a
female
CEO
president.
of anything she does.
Amor is, I mean, she's a mini mom, and she is always in control. So she controls the narrative at the house when they're playing games. No, do it this way. I want to do it this way. So no, but it's really nice. And I think what works for us is having so many kids that are at that age
Yeah.
is that we have such a good structure.
Yeah.
We are scheduled and routine,
Yeah.
and our days look pretty much the same every day. And
Yeah.
I think that's how we're able to manage having 5 kids so close in age.
Yeah, I agree. Because they're all going to hit the same milestones literally within a couple months or years.
Yes.
They also watch each other. Like, wait a second,
Yes.
you can walk? Let me get up and
me
do
get
that.
up on that.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Jay, what would you? What's one thing that you would tell a child or kid that is scared of coming out?
I saw this question. I was like, these bitches better ask me that question.
Of course.
You know, that question in itself just makes me so sad. And the
It's
reason it makes
scary.
me sad is the fact that someone has to come out is unacceptable. And technically, and you know, I feel like even me as a gay person, sometimes like the pronouns or the words that I use, sometimes I have to catch myself. Like me and Kyler will be talking. He's like, that's not the correct way to say it. I'm like, okay, great. Or, you know, I'll catch him or whatever. But I feel that, like, for example, when my children are in school, well, first of all, I think that the question, maybe that's an ick, but the question of like, oh, do you like someone? And they're like in kindergarten. It's
Oh,
like,
weird. Yeah.
that's a little straight.
That is an ick for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were supposed to talk about ick, so there's my ick. But I think it's just a little weird because they say that gay people sexualize things, but it's like straight people do it all the time. They just don't realize it. But anyways, sorry guys. I think it's very hard that people have to come out. So I think that even like, say your child is showing interest and they say, I like somebody, tell me about them. You don't have to say, oh, tell me about the girl, tell me about the boy, right? Because that in itself will kind of make them like, oh crap, I'm supposed to like a boy or a girl. And you just kind of leave it open, like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
That doesn't even have to like put a gender specific or anything. Tell me more about who you like. Very quick and simple. I think sometimes people think it's so hard to do that. And so you just have to say, hey, tell me more about the person that you like. Very simple. And they'll say, oh, I like this girl. Okay, I'm all great. Well, what she look like? You know what I mean? Just something like that. But
Yes.
to someone that is planning to come out, I think that you have to be very sure of who you are. Because unfortunately, sometimes when people come out, they are cut off.
Yes.
And the people who are allegedly going to be there for the rest of your life and support you unconditionally are not going to. And so you have to be so strong within yourself that to say, if the people that are supposed to have my back 100% are not going to be there, I'm strong enough where I got this on my own and I will go out there and build a future that I want.
Yeah.
And so that's the hardest part, is coming to terms with the people that are supposed to love you unconditionally are not going to.
Yeah.
And are you strong enough to do that? So until you're strong enough to do that, that you can face that reality that if you go to your mom and she's like, absolutely not, then that's the thing. The other thing is financially, if they kick you out, you're going to be out in the streets. And that happens a lot. I don't think that people understand that. That happens a lot to a lot of LGBTQ plus, is that they are kicked out and they have nowhere to go. And there's a lot of homelessness that happens within that because that happens. So I think that you have to have some sort of support system. So when I first came out, I had friends that I knew I could rely. I had a job. So I was like, I knew my dad was going to cut me out of the will. Literally he did. But I knew that it was going to happen, but I was strong. I had friends. I was confident in myself. And I had out financially, I was stable, where I was like, if my mom and dad turn on me, I got this. I can do this. So that's what I would say, is you have to really have that, because
Such a sad thing that you have to prepare to be yourself. Like, that to me is
Genuinely.
so heartbreaking to me.
That's nuts to me.
It is.
It's nuts to me. So that is very, very, very real. That does happen. It is sad that you have to prepare to be yourself.
Yeah.
My touch on it would be find a friend that has a parent that loves you for who you are. Because a lot of the times your friends' parents know before your parents know. That was my situation. Is I had an aunt, quote unquote, that was really loving towards me and I felt comfortable and safe around. So I could vent to her and have an adult's perspective of like what it was like without feeling that like internal teenage panic of like, oh, but I like girls too. My dad's gonna hate me and I'm gonna go to hell and all those things. So that's so real, Jay.
It
Yeah.
is.
And I mean, there's people out there, and I think that the one thing that I'll say is like for gay people, sometimes blood is not thicker than water, and sometimes you have to go out there and choose your family, have your chosen family, and that's I think what we have done, or what I have done in specifically. I always talk about chosen family, and people think like, oh, whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm being serious. Like I feel like we have it in a double fashion. Like for me, one, because I'm an adoptive parent, and then also because I'm gay, right? I have some family members who didn't accept me, specifically my dad who didn't accept me. And the interesting thing is right before I came out, I had a lot of friends that were older Mexican ladies. And at first I was like, people would say, you get along so much with older Mexican ladies. That's why I have these two girls. And just kidding. But and now that I look back, I think the reason I know the reason I was doing that is because I wasn't 100% sure if my mom was going to support me.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a mother figure just in case my mom was going to leave me.
That's so
And
sad.
I know.
I wish it was different for you. For the
Yeah.
person that's listening, I wish it was different
do.
for you. Know though that even though like it's so scary when you first come out, I can remember like my first Pride and going and being around everybody else and being like, we're a family. Like we love each other. We support each other. We're here for, there is a community that will love you exactly for who you are. It's not the end of the world.
It's me. I'm
Yeah,
that community.
It's us.
Yeah,
It is we.
I
It is
did.
we.
I did look for that, and I found out later, and it was because of that. Now, my mom did accept me, and my mom is one of my best friends. It was my dad. I knew 100% my dad wasn't going to, but my mom, I just wasn't sure. And the crazy thing is, I pushed my mom away so much.
Yeah.
I never hung out with her. Once I embraced myself, I never talked to her. And she's like, you were so mean to me. We talk about it to this day. She's like, you were so mean to me. And I said, I was literally building a wall because in case you were going to cut me out, I already was distancing myself away from
Yeah.
you where it wasn't going to hurt as much.
Yeah.
And so I told her over a Mother's Day card and she was very supportive. We didn't talk about it. Happy Mother's Day. We're good friends now, but that's what I would say. Just try to find friends who are going to love you and accept you. And you will go out in the world. If this is what's happening to you today, I remember I looked back and I was like, I want to be in a great relationship. I want to build a family. I want to have friends who will support me. I want to be successful and be good. And I have built that, praise the Lord. And so if you're experiencing that, just know it happens, but it doesn't happen all at once. There was times where I was very lonely because I didn't have quality friends or I didn't find a partner because we want to find everything all at once. We want a man, we want money, and we want success, and we want a family all in one. And
Yeah.
it takes time to build, and you got to kiss a lot of
Yeah.
hood rats. Are we supposed to say that? I'm just kidding. You gotta kiss a lot of frogs till you get to Daddy Kyler, to your Daddy Kyler. So yeah,
Let me clarify to your Daddy Kyler, not to mine.
not mine.
Goodness, I love how many different perspectives are here. This is like my favorite thing chatting with y'all.
I know. I love it whenever it's the three of us. We just be hanging out.
The three-way.
Speaking of, there is a question for all three of us.
Okay.
What is your parenting ick?
Oh, goodness.
Well, I already gave one of mine, but I'll think of one. I'll let y'all go.
I had said that like something that like grosses me out,
Ooh.
which I can make
Say
everybody.
it.
I can make everybody
Say
get
it,
grossed
say
out
it,
right
say
now.
it.
Is
Wait,
that
say it while she's drinking. No, just kidding.
when you're a kid and you like share drinks or a snack, right? And they take a drink out of your like straw. And then you take a drink and there's some little crumbs up in there. It gets in there.
Disgusting.
Or they drink like here and they have boogers on their tongue. And, it gets
Oh, and ick.
disgusting.
and you're like, well, I made that one. So that grosses me out. Paige can't even handle this right now.
Yeah.
Everybody who's listening is like, oh my God.
You will do the weirdest shit for your kids. Did I ever think that I would be voluntarily opening my hands to catch throw up? No. But I would rather that than the floor. It's wild. You'll do the
almighty.
weirdest things.
Really well.
My mom, one time, she picked up a cup and she thought it was hers, and it was one of the kids. And she started drinking it, and you could literally see all the floaties, and you saw the chunks going up the straw. And she was like, until this day, she gets grossed out. And me and Kyler make fun of my mom all the time. Because I'm like, Mom, remember when you drink? She's like, stop.
That's just
Yeah, I don't share drinks with my kids. And if they ever get a drink from my tea, I'm like, open your mouth. Is there anything in there? Okay, great. But no, absolutely not.
My parenting ick isn't really to do with children so much as it is to parents, but it's going to be knockout bottles. Knockout bottles are an ick for me.
Yeah.
There are parents who will put like rice cereal or baby food inside of a formula bottle at night to
Talking
make
real
their
young
children
babies. Knock
sleep
out.
longer.
Yeah.
They call them knockout bottles, like 4 months old, so that they'll sleep through the night, so that the parent can get a break. That shit terrifies me. That's so scary. First of all, I don't want them to be asleep that long. If they sleep for too long, I'm like
That'd be
staring at them like,
That gives
hello?
me anxiety.
Are you alive? Is everything okay?
Yeah, that
Is
would
my
give me
child
anxiety.
breathing?
Yeah.
No way in hell. No
That is
way.
a good one.
That one's, ugh.
Yeah. The last
Gets
one
me.
that I have that I said, this might be a little controversial, but first of all, I am a boy mom.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Proud to be a boy mom and a girl mom. I'm both. What is it called? A mom of both. Yeah. But the moms who say I'm a boy mom, you don't understand the connection that I have with
That's
my
so
boy.
cringe.
They understand me.
We
Ma'am.
just love each other.
Yeah. Me. And I love my other children too.
Don't
But
you know? My daughter's great, but it's just the bond that I have with my son.
yeah.
It's very creepy.
Yeah, a video came on my For You page. I don't remember who the girl is. I don't know, but somebody was talking about that, and I was literally like, no.
That's disgusting. Imagine a dad getting online and being like, I really love my sons, but my daughter and me, we just have that bond. What the fuck? No, that's so cringe.
I just
be
don't
weird.
get it. Yeah, I just don't get it. Especially if you have other children, like girls and boys.
You said that and put it online that you loved one of them more than the other.
And you're like, I love my son. I love my daughter, but no, ma'am.
And I mean, that kind of goes into one of my things with parents or grandparents or families, that they have favorites. And that's like a favorite thing. So you're literally making your whole personality that you favorite or love one child more than the other, and you have a stronger connection with another child more than another. And that in itself is horrible, because that other child is going to feel
Yes. Yeah.
that they're going to hear it, see it, feel it. And then you're going to grow up and be like, why doesn't Jessica like me? She doesn't talk to me. She never wants to hang out
Yes.
with me. Or, now they're grown up and I don't get to see her anymore and all this stuff. And it's like, well, girl, you're a boy mom. Or, I mean, it's not just the boy moms, but in general,
Yeah.
like when you have favoritism, those children will feel it and see it. And then they will start to alienate themselves away from you. And then you wonder why there's no relationship there. And it's like, because you have favorites.
Yeah.
My grandma had favorite grandkids. And, I mean, she's my mom's
tell.
mom.
Kids
She's
can
my
tell.
mom's mom, but I'm not close to her at all. And it's because you could tell the favoritism. She always hugged them more, gave them more, and all that. And so I genuinely try to give all of my children undivided attention, specific attention to them, because the favorite thing is a ick for me.
Yeah.
Well, and not only does it make you feel uncomfortable around that adult, but it pits the kids against each other. Because then it's
Yes.
like,
Oh, yeah, they see
grandma's pet, cool. You gonna get
see
a
it.
cookie today,
Yeah.
And so they start to fight each other. You're causing animosity between everybody.
Yeah.
It's pointless.
I guess that's why it's like a huge ick, because I would never compare my kids to each other.
No.
Like, that's weird as hell. That's some weird behavior.
That's the same. I'm saying that's the
what?
same shit for my stepsons.
yeah.
People get so irritated that I call them my bonus sons, or that I just say they're my sons. They'll be like, well, actually, they're not your sons. Or do you want me to specifically say, oh, here's my stepsons? How fucking rude to my kids. First of all, they would be like, oh, okay, so I'm just her stepkid. Like, that would be so awkward. They're my kids.
What was the saying that it was one of you, was it you that said, don't put your trauma, remember that statement that we were talking about? And you said, don't put your trauma onto me. How did you say it?
Yeah.
that day?
So somebody was quite, to me, like really insensitive.
Extremely.
And because I have a biological child and an adoptive child, they pin them against each other, which is the weirdest damn thing. That's going to get you quickly blocked because that's never, that's
amen.
not it. And they had said like, oh, this child gets more than this child, and you're giving this child more attention. I'm like, don't put your childhood trauma
Yes,
onto
that.
my parenting. Do not put what you went through as a child onto my kids.
Yep,
Because
yep.
no, we don't do that.
I said the other day about Juliet, I said, I feel like she's going to be her brother's keeper because she loves Boston. She's also an Aries. I think she's going to be hell. She's not going to take shit from anybody. But I also think if anybody messes with Boston, they're so close in age that she's going to be like, yo, leave my brother alone.
Literally.
Somebody commented on it and was like, please don't call her that because my parents called me that with my brother and it put so much pressure on me as a child to be constantly there to defend him and all these things. And I'm like, that's your experience.
That's yours.
I'm not saying that she's responsible for protecting him. It is just a sweet saying in the sense of like, she's not going to let people fuck with her brother.
Yeah.
That's so strange.
In every situation, people are consistently putting their own trauma or their own situation to somebody else's.
I've done it.
And it's all about the way that you say things, right? You could say, oh, you know what? My parents used to say this to me and this is what happened to me. And then you'd be like, oh, okay, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Right? But it's when you force it onto them and
Oh my
say, you are
gosh.
doing this. And it's like, it's a little bit different. And your unhealed, unresolved trauma is not my trauma or it's not my situation. And so, yeah.
And other people can't be responsible for your triggers.
No.
They can't.
No.
And I've done it before. Flat out, I've done it. I had a mutual friend online that made an insensitive video, and I responded to it publicly. And did I have a lot of support? Yeah. People were like, thank you for standing up and saying that was wrong. But then a couple months later, I was like, damn, like I reacted to that because it hurt me. It didn't have anything to do with me, but it hurt me.
Yeah.
And I reacted to it poorly. I should have gone to her and said, hey, yo, this hurt me. Now, granted, now we have had those conversations and we've left that behind and she's, held herself accountable and I've held myself accountable and we're friends and we're good and everything is happy hunky-dory again. But I do regret putting my trauma and my pain into her hands as if it was her responsibility to be sensitive towards it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't. It was not her responsibility to be sensitive towards what has upset me.
Yeah.
I should have removed myself from the situation quietly, and I didn't because I'm a hellfire sometimes. Sometimes I get pissed off, and I've got a mouth. Just depends on the time of day. Some days I'm the bless your heart type, and then some days I'm the burn your house down type. So just depends on which one you get.
Well, we've had a lot of great conversations today. I feel like we go into depth on all of these things. Jay, thank you for being here again.
Thank you guys.
Oh,
Great
somebody did
question.
ask, actually, is Jay a permanent part of the podcast? Yes, he is.
This is
Yes.
a trial basis.
No, we're going to make it real clear right here that Jay is on our podcast. He is fully welcomed on this podcast.
We decided as the hosts that this is what we wanted to do.
Yes.
We made a decision
Jay
together.
brings in a unique perspective on
Yeah.
things, and we are thrilled to have him be here with us.
Yeah. We want representation in every single corner.
Absolutely.
In every single corner, whether that be gay, lesbian, straight, Mexican, white, whatever. We want you guys to feel represented as parents, not just as mothers, because there are parents who are not moms.
Yeah, and I feel like we all represent a bunch of things, right?
Yeah.
We're foster parents, we're bio parents, we're adoptive parents, we are step parents. We, took on other people's children. You know what I mean? We have a lot to cover, and I'm very happy to have you guys.
We just have fun with Jay.
We really do, you
Just have
guys.
fun. Things are more
Yes.
fun whenever you can tell that the people that are hanging out are having a good time and they're
That's
just shooting
right.
the shit. Like, how boring would it be? I would understand if you gave no fun to the atmosphere, but these are my favorite segments because we just shoot the shit naturally. So I love it. So we're glad you're here, Jay.
Alrighty, well, we're done
Thank you,
shooting the
Jay.
shit. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. All right,
fun
guys,
episode.
that was a great episode. Thank you guys for the questions. We got to do
Thank
some more
you.
of these. You
I
guys,
love
y'all
them.
have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
I
you
love
do.
them.
We could talk for hours
Literally
on these
hours.
questions, you guys.
Hours.
Oh, man. Well, that was it for the day, you guys. Keep
That's
the
right.
giggles going.
And the left flowing. And until next time,
Mom knows best.
or at least
She's trying her best.
Bye, guys.
Bye.